Good morning. It's a beautiful day for a run, heading out to greet the rising sun. Today I'm thinking about what races would be like an experience of a lifetime, right? So I guess that's the question today. Do you have a race that would be an experience of a lifetime for you? Of course, there's the big marathons, Boston being the oldest, New York City Marathon. If you live in England, right, you can get into London. Or Berlin or Tokyo, right? These are all life events. If you do them once, right, you've lived a good life. You get to do them multiple times, that's awesome. But really, they are events. Maybe the Disney Marathon. But then there's, in my mind anyway, you have all these trail runs that are huge, right? Western States, which is the oldest 100-mile race, and the one that set that standard, right? You also have an old race in Europe called the Cross du Mont Blanc, right? That would be pretty awesome to do, just because of its historic precedence, right? Going back to the 70s. Again, they did create a newer race, UTMB, which seems pretty popular among a lot of the kids. But it's popular because of Western States predominance, right? Because it's about 100 miles too. So those people who previously yearned to thrive at Western States now also yearn to do well at UTMB. And of course, the great American runner Jim Walmsley, has moved to Europe and pretty much sold his whole career to trying to win UTMB, which is kind of funny, right? Because he's already won Western States, right? The older, more prestigious run. But there's other 100 miles runs that are pretty old too, like Leadville, obviously older than UTMB around here, is the Oil City 100, Vermont 100. Eastern states. I think that might be in the same state park as World's End. So you got two of them that are really challenging. East Coast, Old Dominion down in Virginia. Maybe those are your once in a lifetime, right? Lifetime races. But then there's also even older ones, right? Like the JFK 50, going back to when JFK kind of promoted for everyone to try to run a 50-mile run, right? Within a day, 50 miles in one day, which of course has a history going back to Teddy Roosevelt, and it started end of the 19th century, early 20th century, requiring that of his Rough Riders, right? The 50-mile with the military pack on. So that has, what a great historic race. That could be a once in a lifetime event that highlights your whole life, right? And there's obviously even older in some ways, is comrades, right? I think that's like 60 miles. I'm not sure. It's different because they alternate which way they run it. But that's when it goes back to just after World War I. You know, wouldn't that be a great once in a lifetime race? And there's ones that are even longer, right? Like the Bigfoot race, which is over 200 miles. You know, or the Tahoe 200, or the multiple day events like the one that runs in Morocco across the desert for multiple days, the marathon through Saab. You know, I probably, as a weekend warrior, somebody who has a job, wouldn't hit any of those races every year. But yeah, as a highlight, right? A destination, vacation, you know, I think any of those would be something else, right? And then you use your local 5K, half marathon, even marathons as your yearly model. So today I'm running a little fartlek. Not a hard one because I already had a harder speed session on Wednesday when I was off, right? And going into a week of work, all my runs are probably going to be pretty early in the AM. So I have to, as a weekend warrior, get in a long run on Saturday and go speed work on Sunday. And then just hold steady with what I can get throughout the week. If I can get 10 minutes to a half hour in the morning before I leave for work, that's going to have to be good enough. Luckily, I did see somebody talking about a study online. I was reading it. And this person had said a lot of the same gains are made by weekend warriors as those who have their workouts spread out more, as long as their mileage and amount of speed work stays the same. So there are negatives to being a weekend warrior, but a lot of us have to do it.